Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. I'm Bill. As always, with me is Ryan on the screen there in his blue shirt and his Phillies banner behind him, and our seasonal guest host Timmy hanging out with us. We got the Fanatic and Gritty Boondock Saints T-shirt, epic, love it.
Pretty sure that's not Boondock Saints. What's the one with Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta?
Pulp Fiction.
Yep, there we go.
It could be one or the other, actually. It's probably Pulp Fiction. I'm probably incorrect. So today's show is primarily us winging it. We decided to get on a little earlier than we had originally planned, and we just decided we wanted to wing it. There's not a whole lot to discuss. There was the NHL draft yesterday, and then there's obviously baseball to talk about, and the Baker Mayfield trade is pretty much the only thing in the NFL going on right now. So those are the topics we're going to touch. Starting with, I guess we should just jump right into the Baker Mayfield situation. The Cleveland Browns trade Baker Mayfield to the Carolina Panthers for a 5th-round pick, and I'm pretty sure Cleveland eats most of the contract. Am I not correct on that?
I think 10.5.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Yeah,
after paying $230 out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Baker's owed 18.5 this year, so I think they ate all but 8.
Yep. What's your opinion on the trade? Good, bad?
Go ahead, Tim.
I like the trade. I think Baker benefits more out of the Panthers in Seattle right now. The Panthers O-line is better. I think the wide receiving core both even on both sides, and the offense, not the offensive line, the running back. I like CMC better than Penny, Carson, and Walker over there in Seattle. So I think it's a good landing spot for Baker overall.
I'm a little indifferent about it. While it looks nice on paper, and Baker, Darnold's been terrible most of his career. It's not like Baker's been, Baker's definitely not a long-term answer there. Whether they have faith in Corral to take the reins on that or not is one thing, but he's a bit of an upgrade over Darnold. I'll give him that. He should be the week 1 starter going forward. And he's a little bit of an upgrade for the rest of the offense as well. I think his arm talent's just a little bit better than Darnold's, and I think maybe getting out of Cleveland would help him out significantly, give him a fresh start.
Yeah, indifferent is the perfect word to describe how I feel about it as well. You gave examples to me about the differences between Seattle and Carolina, and yes, Carolina is probably the better landing spot for whatever quarterback was available. We'll touch on the Jimmy Garoppolo situation in a second. But overall, indifference, the exact phrase I would use. I think the biggest thing that I took away from this is the value that the Panthers gave to get Sam Darnold versus the value that the Panthers gave to get Baker Mayfield. Obviously, Baker probably wasn't playing in Cleveland this year, even with the Deshaun Watson rumors and everything going on there. They look like they're going into the season with Jacoby Brissett, and that's just the way the Cleveland Browns are browning right now.
I don't want to bring up Deshaun Watson again, but the NFL don't have nothing against him, so he might be playing week 1.
Even if he's not. Speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, with Seattle essentially ruling themselves out of contention to trade for any veteran quarterback, and the amount of 1-year Band-Aid quarterbacks we have around the league, like Mariota, Goff, guys like that. I mean, Jimmy could go to the Browns.
Yeah,
he would instantly make that team better, way better than Brissett.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you're saying in the event where Watson does not play this season, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, it's a glove fit. The 49ers shed Jimmy Garoppolo and all the shadow that Trey Lance would have behind him, and then the Browns get an upgraded quarterback. Because make no mistake about it, like Seattle, the Browns have a great rest of their roster. Like, they have a top 2 offensive line, they have a great running game, they have good at least one good wide receiver. We'll see how David Bell pans out, and then they have a solid defense. Like, I mean, the only thing holding them back is what is Brissett going to do? And Garoppolo just went to an NFC Championship game last year, so he knows how to at least carry a talented roster into the playoffs.
He's a game manager. That's all he is.
Yeah, but he's been a game manager who's gone to a Super Bowl and went to an NFC Championship game as recently as last year.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper, would be the biggest benefactor there. But at the same time, like, the whole team would be elevated with Garoppolo over Brissett. I think that would almost be a slam dunk no-brainer for both organizations, the 49ers and the Browns.
Tim?
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. What Ryan was saying, with Brissett, it gets a here, game here type of guy.
He's a stopgap. He's a stopgap guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So back to the Baker to Carolina thing. The value that the Jets got for Sam Darnold last year versus what Cleveland got for Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold is not as Ryan pointed out, not as good quarterback as Baker Mayfield is. Significantly fewer wins, no playoff appearance, no playoff victory, which Baker does have one. I mean, say what you will about Baker not being able to come in clutch. However, he gave Cleveland their first playoff victory in I think 30 years, so 3 decades. And then they only get a 5th round pick and eat $10.5 million of his contract for him to go play for Carolina, who, by the way, the Browns play in week 1.
Yeah, that's funny. The Browns are going to pay Baker Mayfield about $10.5 million to beat them.
Yeah. So, I mean, indifferent is a good word. I think the Panthers win this hands down if you're talking about which organization.
It's so low risk, high reward for the Panthers. I mean, a 5th round pick, I mean, really, what are you getting out of that? Maybe a special teams guy?
Yeah, exactly. So for the Panthers, it's absolutely a win in my book.
Much better than the Darnold trade.
I agree, and that's what I wanted to also touch on is the value that Sam Darnold went for just a year ago to the Panthers. What did they give up? They gave up a 2nd, a 3rd,
and a 3rd, and like a 6th or something like that. The 3rd and the 6th were 2022. I think the 2nd was 2023.
Okay. And again, Baker Mayfield for a 5th round pick. And as I pointed out when Ryan walked away to deal with his dog, is Baker's the better of the 2 talents. So I mean, good for Joe Douglas getting that kind of value for the Jets, for a quarterback who they obviously didn't believe in. They went and got Zach Wilson. So good for the Jets.
You know, the Panthers are the only team in the NFL ever to have the 1st overall pick and a 3rd overall pick in the 2018 draft. Like,
you mean they're the first team in history to have the 1st and the 3rd overall pick in any draft?
Yes.
Okay.
You helped me word it better. Yes.
It's all right. That's why I'm here. Yeah. Oh, Ryan's got a dog barking. He's no.
Mike. Awkward silence.
Lawn maintenance picked an excellent time to start leaf blowing right outside the window. So I'm trying to save everybody from that.
Okay, well, Timmy and I can continue. We got the private chat next time that happens. Just type it in there, little buddy.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. I think it's more comical this way anyway. I think they might be like moving away from directly in front of my window. So,
okay.
Yeah, I did hear that stat that they are the first team to own the 1st and 3rd overall pick in the same draft class.
Which is cool. Another organization who has a little bit of quarterback controversy. Ryan is significantly higher on the starting quarterback for this team than I am. Trey Lance of the San Francisco 49ers. Somebody come out, I don't know who it was, a couple days ago, said that his arm strength looked really down, and that's part of the reason that Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster. Now, somebody come out today, somebody else, and refuted that. However, Ryan, give me your take on the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo in the San Francisco situation.
I ain't buying none of the negative talk against Lance, to be honest with you. I mean, if you go back 2 off seasons ago, Justin Jefferson couldn't catch the ball in the offseason, and then all of a sudden, you know, he magically found his hands. Jamar Chase wasn't a great route runner who had drop problems. His rookie season, you know, his first offseason coming into the NFL, magically he seemed to figure that out okay. I'm not buying, you know, any slander against young guys who haven't really played yet, because to be honest with you, Trey Lance really didn't do as bad as everybody wants to think he did in his 2 spot starts. Having spot starts where they have to put Band-Aids on the game plan for 2 different quarterbacks is a lot different than Kyle Shanahan being able to game plan Trey Lance as his quarterback for an entire season. So the playbook's going to look a little bit different. Ayuk's going to be used a little differently. Debo's going to be used a little differently. The running back's going to be used a little differently. The whole offense is going to look a little bit different. And if there's one person that can figure it out, it's probably Kyle Shanahan. So I'm not buying any of the slander really against Trey Lance until I see him play.
All right. Go ahead.
No. You go.
After you explain your comments, Ryan, I still think Trey Lance, I mean, Jimmy G is still there just in case Trey Lance don't plan out to be what he is.
See, I thought that too, but I mean, in all honesty, like I think it's a combination of where's Jimmy G going to go? The Browns just traded Baker. So, I mean, they're the only team that really needs a stopgap quarterback.
And what's his contract?
Who's going to take Jimmy Garoppolo at $27 million this year?
27. True. That's a lot of money right there. People don't want to spend it. That's why he's throwing them options.
Yeah. It's like, who's going to take a stopgap quarterback at $27 million? People are saying Garoppolo's still there because of Lance. I'm not buying it. I think Garoppolo's still there because he can't get moved.
There was a report a few weeks ago, and Ryan and I talked about this, where it was rumored that both Baker and Jimmy G were going to be cut before the beginning of training camp. How much money do they save if Jimmy is cut?
$18 million, I think it is.
So it's likely that no team is paying for Jimmy Garoppolo right now because they know he's going to be cut, and then they'll go and sign him as an unrestricted free agent.
Right, and I think the 49ers are kind of holding out hope that maybe a team like Cleveland is desperate enough to trade assets for him. But no, I mean, I think outside of the $9 million they're required, or $8 million they're required to pay him because of his time and service in the league or something like that, the rest of it, they save money because it's his last year. It's not a guaranteed contract. So, I think they can save like $18 million by cutting him, which wouldn't surprise me if they did that.
Yeah, that's a good point. No one paying that contract, so
it's not like trading for Baker, who's owed $18 million. It's trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's owed $27.
Yeah, I'm with you. It just goes back to what I said. It was already rumored that he was going to be cut. Teams have heard that he was going to be cut. So now they have no reason to go out and give up any assets or agree to take on the contract the Niners are inevitably going to have to pay. And it's obviously just a wait and see situation. Everything's just a wait and see situation at this point in time. But yeah, the Jimmy Garoppolo situation in San Francisco is definitely something that's going to be developed and we'll be able to follow.
And like I posted in the fantasy chat, what was it, earlier this morning, offseason reports are so sketchy. Like two months ago, it was Najee Harris is going to have a reduced workload and get more rest. And then yesterday there was a report that came out and said he's expected to get bell cow work. Like those are two very conflicting reports. And anything can be said at this point. Training camp hasn't even started yet. So people are just reaching for stories. In all honesty, it's all speculation. It's all skepticism, whatever word you want to use. The entire thing is, only the 49ers really know why Jimmy Garoppolo is still there. We can speculate that it's because, Trey Lance sucks or his contract sucks, like whatever the case may be. But my guess is it's more having to do with Jimmy G than Trey Lance. That's just my opinion and my take on that.
I think it's got tons to do with the money.
Yeah, I think it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Moving into baseball. Phillies had another solid week. They won 8 of their last 10 series. I don't know what the exact day that Rob Thompson took over, but I think on that day, I don't think you can tell me that there's been a better managed team in the MLB other than the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking June 1st, Rob Thompson takes over. They obviously win their first 7 games with him as manager. They finish out June 19-8. Kyle Schwarber has one of the hottest Junes in history. Rhys Hoskins also gets hot towards the end there. The bullpen.
Schwarber didn't homer yesterday. I'm a little concerned about him.
I think the most important thing to take away from everything that's happened in the month of June when Rob Thompson took over is how the bullpen dropped their ERA down to a 3.03. When it was
in their last 46 innings, they've given up 3 earned runs.
That is correct. Last 46 innings, they've given up 3 earned runs. This is the bullpen that we thought we could have. This is the bullpen that we should have had the entire season, and it was being mismanaged by Joe Girardi. And this is the proof of it. You shake things up. You get guys who are more confident in certain situations, and then they excel. And this is just something that Girardi wouldn't do. He was loyal to a fault. Didi Gregorius getting way too much playing time because Girardi is the manager, stuff like that. And Thompson came in and he changed it. And as a result, the Philadelphia Phillies in the last 30 games, I believe they're 20-10. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah. That if you're winning 2 games for every one, you're going to go, I think, 96-66, 97-65, something like that. That's a pretty good pace to be on. And that's with, anybody really that makes over $20 million not hitting the ball. Didi Gregorius hasn't had a solid season. Rhys Hoskins has come on late. Outside of June, Schwarber was terrible. Castellanos hasn't been great all year long for a guy who's hit over 300 the last 4 years of his career. I mean, you got JT Realmuto outside of throwing guys out, which he's usually really good at. He not great behind the plate glove wise, not good at the plate bat wise. I mean, it's just that Harper's hurt. I mean, anything really, you look at it like this team is playing great ball, but it's because they're getting contributions from guys you wouldn't think that they'd be getting contributions from. Matt Vierling's hitting .315 since June 1st. Needs to be in the lineup every day. Kyle Schwarber's carrying this team through June. They're riding hot bats at the right time. Now imagine if they fixed the issues of, which they may have finally done, the closer issue. They might have finally figured it out by switching Hand and Sir Anthony in the ninth. They get these $20 million a year plus guys going. Your Castellanos, who bats plenty of times with runners in scoring position. Your JT Realmutos. It's almost like anything that can go wrong will, and they're still pushing through. They're being carried by their starting pitching and now their bullpen, essentially game after game.
Well,
Tim?
This is what we did in the off season. We wanted to go get bullpen help, and they didn't plan out until Girardi got fired. Basically, that basically lit fire in everyone's butts. Basically,
I don't think it was just a fire in everybody's butt. Like I pointed out, that the mismanagement by Joe Girardi was so apparent that the last game that he coached, if I'm not mistaken, it was an MLB Network game. So like Alex Rodriguez was on there, and he sent Corey Knebel out there in the ninth inning. And A-Rod even said, why is he sending Knebel out right here when you have Sir Anthony warming up? Like the ESPN, Alex Rodriguez openly criticized his former manager for bullpen usage when they had the opportunity to win a game.
And that's what got him fired in New York was his bullpen usage.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way. So Knebel got taken out of the closer spot. I don't think he gave up an earned run since he got taken out.
One. He's one of the three in the last 46 innings.
Yeah, and he's been lights out. He's pitching now the way that we thought he could. Maybe he's just not mentally locked into the high stress ninth inning situations with the lead this year. That it happens, but that's why you went out and you got guys like Familia and Hand. Familia hasn't had a great year, but Hand is a former All-Star closer with 36 saves under his belt for the Cleveland Indians. Sir Anthony, I was against trying him as a closer before we gave Hand a shot, but I like this kind of 1-2, like we're going to flip-flop him back and forth based on the matchup. I can deal with that.
Sir Anthony's pitching to the tune of a 1.12 ERA right now.
Yeah, and that's been great. Don't fix what ain't broken.
Yeah, Hand got a nice curveball, man. I watched him the other night. He hits curveball so nice.
Yeah, I mean he's a former closer. He knows how to get both righties and lefties out. It's not like he's an amateur. He's got a sub 2.3 ERA somewhere in that neighborhood too. So.
Hey, let's not take away from what guys like Bailey Falter and Nick Nelson have done either. Nick Nelson has been absolutely phenomenal in his long relief situation.
Andrew Bellotti,
yeah,
fantastic. And Jose Alvarado, since he came back from the minors, has been lights out in his last 12 outings or something like that. He's been insane.
Part of the reason,
mile-an-hour sinkers last night.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that's really good for the Phillies bullpen is their starters are giving them
time to rest.
They have the fewest pitched innings, the Phillies bullpen, since June 1st than any other team in Major League Baseball, which signifies that their starters are going out and throwing 6 innings, throwing 7 innings of quality start baseball. And again, like I said, over that span, I believe they're 20-10. I can look it up very specifically right now.
That's what the starters missing time.
Yep.
You're talking Eflin's out, Suarez is out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the starter, Bailey, guys like Bailey Falter. I think Christopher Sanchez is going to get a start or something like that. And now they have to shake up the rotation because for those of you that don't know, Canada still has very strict COVID rules. Anybody that is not vaccinated is placed on the MLB waive list or some fashion like that, whatever it's called. And they are not eligible to play in the 2-game series in Toronto. So Zach Wheeler will be bumped up. He's pitching tonight. Fortunately, he had a day off. An extra day off in between starts, so he's pitching on normal rest, which signifies that he will be going game 2 in the series in Toronto, and that is obviously a clear indicator that he is vaccinated. I'm curious as to who we're going to see in and out of the lineup. That'll be a key indicator as to who's vaccinated and who's not.
Yeah.
And a big thing come to that. I mean, this is a long ways down the road, and teams got to get there. World Series.
Yep.
If Toronto makes the World Series, I mean They got a huge leg up on whoever they're playing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. World Series or playoffs at that, really. That Red October, well, not Red October, but Baseball October, basically. It's
especially if they have a home series against
exactly. It's such a big advantage.
But so that's kind of the situation there. So we will see Wheeler tonight, whereas we'll see Gibson tomorrow, and they were scheduled to be flip-flopped.
Yeah, we get the Wheeler Wainwright rematch tonight. Timmy and I were fortunate enough to be at that game Sunday night where they battled it out, and the Phillies put up 4 on Wainwright. But for the first 5 innings, nothing, zeros on the board. Very, very quick moving.
Wainwright's in the league of his own this year. He's figuring it out at 100 years old. Had a pitch. I mean, dude's good.
Dude, yeah, I mean, still, I mean, he's only there because they brought Pujols back. We all know that Molina and Wainwright were considering being done, and then they brought Pujols back, so they both stayed. We know the whole story.
Speaking of Pujols, the MLB did right by these guys, both
I agree.
Pujols and Miguel Cabrera, and made them honorary All-Star team members, despite the fact that they're not having great years. They're combined, 110 years old or something like that. But yeah, they absolutely did right by these guys. This is the farewell tour, I guess, that they are never going to receive because neither one of them are getting it. But it's both their last seasons. They're both first ballot Hall of Famers. Go ahead and give them one more All-Star selection. They did right for generational talents.
Yeah, I agree.
That being said, speaking of the All-Star game, Bryce will probably be voted in, but he won't play.
Obviously.
Which Phillies are going to be there?
I feel like at this point in time, Schwarber probably gets in, and Wheeler.
I could see Wheeler in there.
I see Wheeler and maybe Sir Anthony.
I got 3 in mind. They're all pitchers.
I definitely think Sir Anthony.
I think Sir Anthony. I think Wheeler could do it.
Maybe Nola.
Nola deserves it.
Yep, I'm about to say Nola. Yeah, he pitched great last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nola deserves it. I mean, that start that he pitched he did all he could.
Yeah,
they just lost.
Odubel Herrera misplays a ball in center field, and they lose the game because of it.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I agree that Nola could probably get in, Sir Anthony and Wheeler. I think so I actually am glad you brought up the All-Star game. Here's the best question I can pose, and I want to hear your opinions on it, both of you. We'll start with Timmy. The reason I bring it up is because Fernando Tatis Jr. has not played a single game this year and is 6th in All-Star shortstop voting. Do you think that fans should be able to vote for the All-Star players?
No, I don't.
Explain.
I think it should be a part of the managers of all the league. And, like you just said, Tatis is a very popular player, and a van might vote him in when he hasn't played a single inning the whole year. It's unfair to someone who played 100 innings or more, basically. Like, it's just unfair. I think it should be up to the managers and players.
Ryan?
I agree. I think that, the popularity contest thing, I agree and I don't. So had you asked me this question about 8 years ago when the All-Star game mattered, if you'd asked me this question about 8 years ago when the All-Star game mattered, decided home field advantage in the World Series, I probably would have said, yeah, sure. The way that they pick the players needs to be taken a little bit more seriously. But this game ain't for the players. The All-Star game's for the fans. Let them pick who goes in. They already picked the pitchers, which I think is a little ridiculous anyway. Just let the fans pick. It's for them. It's festivities. It's an easy, lighthearted game where, your best guys are going to play an inning or two, have an at-bat or two, and it's all fun and games. This game means nothing to anybody except the fans. Might as well let them pick it.
Bill?
I think it should be picked by the managers who are coaching the team. So the NL manager from the previous year, the AL manager from the previous year. I think they should be the ones picking the players.
But what's to stop them from just picking all their own guys?
Obviously, there would be a rule that says they have to take at least one player from every team, which there is a rule that at least one player from every team makes the All-Star game. So that rule stands. And then
now to make the ballot, I think you should play X amount of games.
Yes.
Like I don't think Tatis should be on the ballot at all.
Correct. And that's what I'm getting at.
I still think it should be decided by the fans because the game's for them.
Okay. I like it.
But yeah, so that's back then when the All-Star game meant something. What was the last time it meant something? 2015, 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should have been the managers or whatever, picking because it meant something, but it doesn't mean anything anymore to anybody except the fans. So.
And Ken Brandt had a good point. If you vote once, it's different from voting someone at work, let's say on a laptop at home, nonstop voting.
You get one vote per email address. So if you really want to go through the process and make 10, 15, 20 different email addresses
per day.
Yeah. Then, I mean, look, you want to put in that much commitment to it, fine. I voted one time for the Phillies that I think should get in. And that's what I've done. I don't know if you guys have voted, but that's what I've done.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't voted on the All-Star game in years. I don't watch the All-Star game. I say it's for the fans. I don't watch the All-Star game, so
I do. I like to watch the home run derby.
Yeah, the home run derby is fun. I think that's probably one of the better events in all of sports.
Who's going to be in the home run derby this year?
They haven't announced it.
Yep. Huh?
Schwarber.
Okay.
Judge.
Yeah,
okay.
Judge.
I know
Trout,
last year,
won't do it, even though he should. Trout won't do it.
I know last year they just picked the younger guys, right? Or a couple years ago.
I mean, they should have the the home run leaders from each league pick the other 3 team members for them and just go at it. But
All right, I like that. That'd be a pretty good idea.
It would be Schwarber versus Judge, and that's how it would go right now.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, Schwarber has won a home run derby. He was a Cub at the time, and he actually knocked Rhys Hoskins out in the first round.
I remember that.
Yeah, after Hoskins hit 17 freaking home runs.
Yeah, Schwarber was on fire.
Yeah.
Never forget the Josh Hamilton home run derby.
Oh yeah, 25 home runs in one round.
Yeah.
All right, we like I said, very impromptu show. You guys got anything else? Timmy?
No, I'm good.
Ryan?
No, nothing we haven't covered. In recent weeks, Bill, we talked about potential trade deadline candidates last week, so we'll kind of give that one a rest. It was more so just to show face for the crowd, for the fans. This one was for the fans. We'll call this the All-Star game. So,
yeah, but yeah. So that's, like I said, impromptu show, very quick, very easy, 30-minute show. I like it. Thank you for joining us here at BSing Sport. You have a closing thought before I sign off?
No, I have no thoughts. I don't do much thinking.
Tim?
I got nothing.
Nothing you're looking forward to seeing?
Tim's going to give me Travis Etienne after we get off here anyway, so let's hurry up.
I don't know about that now, but NFL in a month, beginning of minicamp.
Yeah, last
month of football.
Yep.
Correct.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining us on BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk